This is the Rossignol Alltrack Pro 120 LT. This is the 2019-2020 model, and I've skied this for about 2 hard seasons. I got this on sale at Mountainopsstowe in Stowe, Vermont, and this was my quiver of one hard charging resort boot and ski tour ski mountaineering boot. I used this for 2 good hard seasons, and unfortunately I did end up getting a crack in the seam, and I ended up calling Rossignol and explaining the situation, and they were very, very quick to respond and get back to me, and they said, hey, send us some photos and we'll see if we can help you out. Now, I was past the warranty window. It's technically a 1-year warranty for Rossignol products, but I sent them photos of the boot, and they agreed, yep, you know what, that really wasn't supposed to happen. So I'll show you where the crack happened. It happened right on this seam. And I haven't heard of this happening on any other of these boots, but I put a lot of days on it. You know, I put about 120 good hard days in on this boot, and yeah, you know, I think I just kind of gave it all it could really take. The liner still held up great. It packed out a little bit, but you know, for as much as as often as I wore these, they really held up well, and it put up with a lot of abuse on Mount Washington, rock hopping, and really doing everything. It was my only boot that I used. So talking a little bit more about the warranty process, they asked me to send them some photos, so I did, and again, they agreed, yes, we will warranty it. All you need to do is conduct a field destruction. And I said, what is that? And they sent a photo of an example. Well, this is what a field destruction is. You have to drill a hole in the shell of the boot, so it's no longer usable. And I thought, well, that's a shame. You know, these could have still been my rock boots, I guess. One good thing that I learned, I was actually listening to a blister podcast with Jonathan Ellsworth and Matt Manzer. I listened to the whole very deep dive on ski boots series. It's a 7-part series, and they were talking about plastics. And this is a Grilamid polyamide boot, and this material is recyclable, so I can actually put this boot in the recycle and it will get recycled properly. So that's really cool. So that's probably what I will end up doing, unless I can maybe fill this with some epoxy or something. But you know, conducted a field destruction, I want to make sure that Rossignol is satisfied with that. I loved this boot. This is the 120 flex version, and it worked really, really well for me. I really felt like I had good ski control. I was skiing Black Diamond Boundary Pros with some really heavy duty marker Tour 16 F Pro Tours 16s, the big marker frame Duke frame bindings. So I was using those for ski touring. I would also use these with a really, really light setup. I had some Rossignol BC 120s with marker Alpinist 12s on them, so that was a really light ski. And to be frank, this boot was a little bit too heavy for those skis. It was a little bit overpowering. Mediocre amateur, extra mediocre. Christoph was talking about how his boots kind of line up in weight with his skis, and I've actually kind of moved into that realm. So what did Rossignol do for me? After that long tangent, let's get into the meat of this. So my boots broke and cracked prematurely. Rossignol was excellent to stand behind their product and warranty my boots. So they provided me with the 2023-2024 Rossignol AT Pro 130 LT MVGW. Basically, this is Rossignol's big time beef hybrid boot for mostly resort, but it also has Dynafit certified inserts for ski touring. And my goodness, the 2023-2024 version of this looks absolutely awesome. I'm going to take off this red jacket so the contrast is better. So some updates to this. The previous year's models from I think 2020 all the way up until 2023 were all some variant of an OD olive drab military green, and this next year is a racing Ferrari fire truck red, and it looks really slick, and I'm excited to use this with my Boundary Pro 98s mounted with some Marker Duke PT 12s, which also have some red in them. So my kicks are going to be red at the resort, so I'm kind of stoked for that. Looking at this boot, it really, like, what stands out to me the most is the liner. It has some really nice texturing to it, and I think that's going to help not only with comfort but also moisture management. And I'll try to take some more close-ups. I noticed that the tongue pull on the liner is now made out of some really heavy-duty cordage here. Looks like, 550 or 1100 cord. And then the power strap features a really cool kind of two-piece system, I guess you could say. The strap won't actually come out. It has a bit of a flare on the end here. And so that will make it really nice for when I unstrap and unbuckle to tour with these. It's not going to come out and be dragging. So that's a really nice, thoughtful feature that the Alltrack Pro 120 LTs did not have. So these are really made, these have, I think, a 50-degree range of motion, which isn't fantastic for a touring boot, but it'll absolutely get you up and down the mountain. Looking inside the shell, I just put it in walk mode, and you can see this white piece of plastic here. This actually moves inside the boot, and that is to really give that range of motion when you're in walk mode, when you are ski touring, but still provide a lot of that stiffness and support in there. Moving it back into walk mode, you just flick the lever down and lean forward or push forward, and that is now locked in, and that's not going anywhere. So yeah, this is an awesome boot, and I'm really excited to ski this. I think I might sleep in them tonight to break them in. Just kidding. So looking at the liner here, they've definitely made some upgrades to this. It has a really nice patterned and cushioned bit here right by the Achilles and back of the calf. And then it has some really good hard reinforced plastic or rubber along the top of the cuff. And that definitely contributes to the stiffness. I doubt the 120 version of this boot is going to have the same liner. That's actually something that's boot companies will do, is a lot of the added stiffness from a 120 to a 130 is found in the liner. So that's another thing to look at and consider. Yeah, and then it does have some really robust plastic and feels like even a reinforced bar in the tongue here for that really good forward progression. There are slots in the liner here for putting additional straps, or even additional lacing, so you can lace it up and really get that tight, snug fit. And yeah, this is really sweet. The heel pocket is generous but not loose. I think my heels are pretty standard, but other than that, the insoles, most ski boot insoles are pretty standard, pretty flimsy. So I'm not super impressed with these. I skied my stock insoles in my 120 LTs and I had no problems with them. It's just a really comfortable boot. I think if you look at the reviews on outdoorgearlab or anything else, you'll find very similar reviews. For a 25.5, the boot sole length is 295 millimeters. So I guess that's, I don't know how that stacks up to other boots. For the 25.5 and the 120 LT, also 295 millimeters. So it's really, when boot manufacturers make a boot, it costs over $1 million to make the tooling for it. And so they will keep the same boot line for 5 years or so or more. You know, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So I expect to see the Alltrack the Alltrack Pro line last a really long time here and really become a staple in the Rossignol lineup. The overall construction and the grid patterning and structure on the clog of the boot is all pretty much the same as it used to be on prior years models. What's different is the new grip walk sole. It's really pronounced, and I really like the colors on it in contrast with the rest of the boot. It just looks really sharp. And same walk mode on the back. It's pretty basic, really simple. It's just a pull tab, and that held up great for me on my 120 LTs. That was probably one of the most robust parts of the boot, and I was really happy with it. As far as the buckles go, they're really similar, but on the 130s here, the new ones, they just feel really nice. They're so smooth and slick, and they just really work. Talking about the rest of the cuff, it just looks really cool. So basically, you have this two-piece system here. So if you undo this part with the flare, you can tour with it. If you undo this part, it comes completely apart, which is really sweet. And it doesn't add a lot of material to the boot at all. But I think that's a really neat premium feature that is really thoughtfully designed with the ski tourer in mind. So these are gonna be my 80% resort, 20% ski touring boots. I'm gonna use these primarily at Sugarbush and maybe Jay Peak up in Vermont. These are really nice and beefy boots. I think they come in right at around 1,750 grams. Yep, exactly 1,750 grams. So this is a really nice and heavy boot, and I am just based on how the 120s skied with my really heavy Black Diamond Boundary Pros in a 172. They were 100 millimeters at the waist with the heavy frame bindings. I have no doubt that these 130s are going to drive my slightly lighter Black Diamond Impulse 98s with the Marker Duke PTs. So I am incredibly stoked for this boot, and I can't wait for winter. It's June 14th right now. I can't wait for winter. It can't come soon enough. Another cool feature on these boots is you can move the buckles in, so you can customize the fit for your feet. As far as the fit goes, these are 100 millimeter last, same as the 120 LT. And I'm a pretty wide foot. I had my feet measured at outdoorgearexchange and at Mountain Ops, and I come in right at about 103.5. So for my mid-weight touring boots, I went with the Dynafit Radical Pros, which are 103.5 last. But these Rossignol 120s and 130s, the 100 millimeter last fits great. I do have a really high instep. So my feet are a 25.5. That's the size boot that I ski. And that's what I got in the Dynafit Radical Pros as well. My foot is a 25.5. At OGE in Burlington, Vermont, they measured my instep at 27.5. So I have a really high instep. Most boots are really hard to fit on me. So Atomics, Dalbellos, Fishers, they all fit really difficult. Solomon's fit me pretty well, but the Rossignol Alltrack line is incredibly comfortable. I was in instant comfort when I put these on for the first time in my room. So these are gonna it's gonna be the same fit. I was really confident that I didn't have to try this boot on because it was gonna be almost identical to this in every which way except for the weight and stiffness. But this is the next evolution of the Rossignol Alltrack Pro ski touring line. Check it out. I don't think it's on the website yet as of June 14th, 2023, but very excited. Again, I really want to comment on Rossignol's immaculate customer service. I put my claim in, I think, last week or maybe late the week before, and I just got these boots. So really it was less than a 2-week turnaround time for me to put my claim in and get these boots in the mail. I came home today and I was thinking, what did I order? And I opened the box and there was a Rossignol boot box, and my jaw hit the floor. I was jumping up and down and just absolutely stoked. Just wanted to give you all a sneak peek at the brand new Rossignol Alltrack 130 for the 2023-2024 season. It's not even on their website yet, so I think this might be the first time we see it in this colorway. So stay tuned, and yeah, let's go skiing. Thanks again for tuning into Diwoodoesthings. If you like what you see, yeah, do that YouTube thing, I guess. It helps. I am trying to grow a channel because I enjoy doing this. I like videography, I like outdoor gear, and I want to marry my passions together and make videos for everybody and be helpful and help you decide what you want to buy, because this shit's expensive, and yeah, I can make good decisions. Make good decisions.